Good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone is well. Give me a few minutes. Okay. All right. I think I'm live on everything here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is TaNisha Webb, and I am a travel consultant and the owner of Urban Chic Travelistas. Hopefully, you can hear me. Let me pull up my chat. Okay. So tonight I'm going to talk about the difference between travel protection and travel insurance. A lot of people get really confused and think that they're the same thing, but they actually aren't. They actually serve two different. They serve two different. Why am I getting tongue tied right now? Okay, they serve two different purposes and everything. So I want to just kind of talk about what they are and what the difference is. And, really, do you need both? Um, or just one or whatever? Okay. I am going to start out by just saying that I'm not a licensed insurance, you know, as far as travel protection is concerned and everything. So I won't be giving out advice as far as that's concerned, but I do want to make sure that everybody is kind of clear on what the two are and things. You definitely want to make sure that you are understand what travel protection is, what travel insurance is when you're, securing a trip and versus when you're going on a trip. Okay. So I should put the link out there. Okay, so so just so you guys know, again, my name is TaNisha Webb. I am the travel consultant and the owner of Urban Chic Travelistas. Uh, we do a lot of hosted trips, and then also I actually curate private trips, groups, and individual trips, solo trips, and things like that for people that are interested in that. So I'm actually doing a 30-day live challenge with other travel agents. And so we will be going live from December 1st to the 30th. And so that's why you're going to see me every day up until the 30th of December, giving you some travel tips and things like that. So, okay, so let's talk about what travel protection is and what travel insurance is. So, travel protection um, is anything that has to do with you canceling a trip or that would make you cancel a trip before you go on a trip. So it's anything that's pre departure date that could cause you to cancel the trip or anything like that. So there's different reasons that you would need to cancel a trip and everything. So if you didn't have the money, or maybe something happened, maybe you changed jobs before the trip changed, and you can no longer take the trip. Hey Ben, or maybe it's because you are just anything. Maybe you got sick you have some type of medical issue that would cause you to have to cancel the trip, and you no longer could go. It could be different reasons, right? And so that's what travel protection is. It actually protects uh, basically your investment for going on a trip if you had to cancel it before you actually depart on your departure date, right? So, um, so hopefully everybody is kind of clear on that. Now, whether you once you put in a claim or not, or put in a claim and you're able to get your money back, it really just depends on what the terms and conditions are with the travel policy that you've signed. And so you want to make sure that you look very thoroughly through all the clauses and make sure that travel policy really fits what will help to protect you. Um, we never know what could happen in the future and things, and what would cause someone to or yourself to have to cancel your trip before you're able to take it. Some other things that could happen, and you know, with either a tour operator, the travel agency, or whatever, is it's possible. It just depends on what the policy is for that travel agency or the tour operator. It's possible that you can actually change your dates as well. Specifically, if you're not going to be able to get your money back or whatever. So that may actually be an option, but that just is different for every tour operator and also every travel agency. So a lot of travel insurance companies will actually give you up to a year in order to use that same policy if you change the dates or whatever. So that's definitely something that's possible. You just have to go to the same destination. Some of them do it and some of them don't. One of the things before we start talking about the travel insurance, so travel protection. Um, because unless you have like a cancel for any reason clause that is actually in the travel protection component of your policy, then that would make it where you can cancel for any reason up to a certain time before you depart for your trip. So that thing right there is something that you would definitely want to take into consideration if that's something that you actually need uh, to consider. In order for you to actually implement that, most companies give you a certain amount of time. So sometimes it's 7 days, sometimes it's three, sometimes it's up to 21 days from the time that you actually put down your deposit for a trip and secure the trip. So you want to be mindful of what that is, and you know if that is something that you want to do, then make sure that you actually secure the cancel for any reason clause. It doesn't mean that you'll get back all your money. Again, you definitely have to, make sure that you understand what the policies are for that trip. Okay. So we kind of briefly talked about what travel protection is. Remember, that is pre-departure. So it's anything that would cause you to have to cancel the trip before your departure date. Okay. So you again, you want to be very clear on what those things are. I was reading a Forbes article, and so one of the examples that was given for somebody was that they had to actually apply for like a visa, and they didn't know if they were going to be able to get the visa. or anything like that, but they had to show proof that they actually had like travel accommodations, the flight, and things like that. So that might be one reason why you would get a travel protection, but you want to make sure that you get the cancel for any reason clause, or where you can at least get a travel voucher or a credit or something like that, where you can move the money to a different destination or something like that. So that might be more with the travel operator versus with the travel protection policy, right? So definitely with COVID and this whole pandemic, there's definitely been some changes with the airlines, with the travel operators, even with the travel insurance companies. And so you want to make sure that you understand what the policies are for everybody that you've booked with, and everything. So you understand, like if it's for the flight, maybe they'll give you a travel voucher to use later on within a year or whatever. So there may be different things that you may lose money for. Maybe it's you know the cancel the flight and things like that. They're going to charge you $300 to do that, and then that might be something that you would put in a claim in order to see if you can be reimbursed for that. So kind of let's move on to the travel insurance. So travel insurance is actually from your departure date until you get home. So travel insurance is anything that could happen while you're away on your trip that could cause you to be delayed, or um, a medical issue that may come up for you or even a loved one that's home. And so it could be different reasons why, you know, that you may actually have issues and things like that. So you definitely want to make sure uh, that you actually do have those type of things, keep it in mind and things. So you want to make sure that you are thinking of the unexpected that could happen. And that's usually how I usually tell people, and things we don't know what could happen. Something could happen to a loved one, my mom or my daughter, or something like that. And so, if that were to happen and I needed to cut my trip short, then I would have to pay a lot of money in order to um, in order to get back home. So in order for me to not have to do that, then I would want to make sure that I had some type of protection that would help me and to interrupt my trip, which that is called a trip interruption. And so I would want to have something in place where I would have help from my travel policy, in order to get myself home so I can cut that trip short, but it's not going to cost me, a lot of money in order to change my flight date. The other part of that is during travel, or at your destination. Say that there's a flight delay or flight cancellation. Maybe for whatever reason your flight got canceled to the next day, and you've lost money at whatever destination you're at, a resort, or whatever it was that you were doing, then that would be one reason why you would put a claim to see if you can get that money back, because it's a loss of the time that you should have been on your trip, but you were not able to take advantage of that. And then you also have your travel delays, on top of the loss of the money that you weren't able, or the loss of the trip that you weren't able to take advantage of, because you were stuck like in an airport, or maybe stuck at your um, at home, as far as not being able to get out the airport even from the jump. So those type of things can cause you to lose money, or the maybe not money, but the time that you paid for in order to be at the destination, right? So those are things that you have to kind of think of, as far as you know, being able to get your money back for the time that you weren't able to take advantage of the time that you should have been at your destination. Um, I'm trying to think of just other scenarios. Baggage, your baggage being lost, and everything. So that might be a reason why you actually could put in a claim for that, or your luggage was lost, or say that something got stolen while you're at a destination or whatever. You had it in the lockbox, and things like that, and something happened. All of those things are reasons why you actually could, you know, possibly put in a claim. Also, your travel insurance, if you had your passport stolen, or if you had um, or whatever has happened, something with your passport, then they can actually help to direct you to the nearest embassy. If you're working with a travel agent, then you can reach out to them too. They can help you. But that's also one of the benefits of having travel insurance, is because you do have a 24/7 number that for emergencies with travel insurance companies, in order for them to help you in situations and things, including getting reimbursed, like if your flight got canceled or whatever, and you had to get a hotel room at your expense. Those are all things that you can possibly, you know, submit information in for, and see if they would give you back your money or reimburse you. So all of these things that that could happen, that especially over the summer, where we had a lot of cancellations and delays with flights and things like that, then those are ways that it could help you out, because not everybody, even if they got canceled or delayed, got the like vouchers for hotels or whatever and everything. So it's just things like that that you want to keep in mind. And for me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Um, there are definitely times, and just kind of going back to travel protection, that you may be securing a trip that is non-refundable. Definitely, you want to get travel protection for that. Or if a company went bankrupt or whatever it is, then it kind of shields you from that too. So you hear a lot, and this is kind of a little bit separate, but you hear sometimes, like with weddings, where a business, maybe it's an event planning company or some other company that has something to do with your wedding, and they just go out of business. They just shut their doors. They don't give you back any money or whatever. That would be a good reason to have, like, event, wedding insurance or something like that. It kind of works with different things, event planning. There's all types of insurance and things. I actually get insurance even if I am, not just international trips, but I also get, insurance when I am traveling domestically. Doesn't matter what I'm traveling for at all, I still get it. Um, the other thing that I want to talk about a little bit is the medical side of it. And you definitely want to look at these policies to see how much coverage you can get in case there's any medical emergency, or even if they offer medical, you know, some money for medical issues at all. Now that the pandemic is kind of, we're moving forward, um, we're in a new normal, I guess you can say. Uh, Now, what's happening is that there used to be a separate clause with a lot of the travel insurance companies for the COVID. Like if you caught COVID out while you were traveling and things like that. And so now most companies are rolling that back underneath the medical clause. So if you got sick while you were away and you needed medical treatment, whether it is, you need to go to the emergency room and urgent care, or you need to be hospitalized, right? How would you pay for that? Especially, specifically if you are um, out of the country, because more than likely, our medical insurance is not going to cover us when we go out of the country. So just know that. Okay. So um, if you had a medical emergency, and definitely for, if you're foreigners and stuff, the hospital, the place that treated you are going to want their money right then. They're not going to send you a bill. They're not going to put you on a payment plan. They're not going to do any of that. They want their money right then and there. Um, that's one of the things that your travel insurance, if you have the medical clause in there, that would help with emergencies like that. And they even put in something in for like if you had a tooth knocked out or whatever, they may give you some money towards that as well. So, um, those are the type of things that you definitely want to look into. And so, if you just never know what can happen, people do dumb stuff all the time and end up knocking a tooth out and stuff. I've heard, where a groom who was playing flag football and the day before his wedding at a destination, and he got his tooth knocked out, you know. So, things happen all the time that are just unexpected. So it's stuff like that. Like if I were to get sick and things, how would you pay for that? Definitely look at what your travel insurance, your policy says, because it's just different for everyone. And even call before you secure your travel protection, if you have, or insurance, if you have any questions, then they have licensed people, uh, insurance people that can answer all of your questions before you actually secure it. And a lot of the travel protection may have a period where you can actually, you know, you can actually cancel it and get your money back. So there might be like a look and see type of clause, or I forget what all they call them, but there's definitely ways that you can actually uh, just if you end up canceling the trip like the next day, I've had to do that before and everything. And so they just, refunded my money back for the travel insurance. Now, if it's beyond that date, then you're not going to get it back and everything. You're going to have to, submit a claim for whatever you're trying to cancel if it's something that you're going to lose your money on. Trying to think of anything. Uh, um, I'm not going to go into specifically um, any stories or anything like that. But I will say that if there's if something has happened, and this has definitely happened and stuff, people unfortunately pass away while they're on vacations and things. And so um, I want to talk just briefly about that because typically, and this is one thing that you want to look into your travel insurance and things like that, is medical evacuations in case you need to have um, be flown back to the United States to get adequate care once you're stable. But what happens if somebody passes away on their vacation? Well, typically in your insurance, travel insurance, there is a um, a clause where they would actually bring your body back or your loved one's body back, and then help with any medical expenses and stuff by the medical facility. Um, it can be several $1,000s, not only to pay whatever the medical expenses were for that person, but also to get their remains back. This is one of the things that typically your travel insurance do cover. Um, and everything. So again, these are things that you want to look into those policies when you're looking at them to make sure that those clauses are in there. And don't be afraid to shop around with different policies and things. They're all different. They come in different price ranges and things like that. Um, for some travel insurance companies, you have to get, if you want to be covered with travel protection, which means that pre-departure date, then some of them make you actually get it, um, you know, so many days before you actually depart. So the travel insurance company that I have an affiliate uh, link with, they require you need to get it within like 21 days at the very latest before your departure date in order to get the travel protection. Other than that, if you don't, then they're just going to offer you travel insurance for when you go on the trip, but you're not going to be protected before then. But that's not the case with every travel insurance company. And so, if that's something that you need or that you're wanting, or maybe you booked a last minute trip or anything like that, and you're getting the travel insurance separately or whatever, then those are things that you want to look into. The closer that you get to your travel departure date, the more expensive also your policy is going to be. And so those are the things that you really want to keep in mind. Try to get your policies within the time range that the travel protection company is telling you, that you can add in that additional cancel for any reason clause and everything. So you really don't have to give them a reason, just saying that I'm canceling and things, and you can get your money back. Or for a portion. Some of them give you all of it back, and then some of them will give you a portion of it back. So that's the other thing that you probably need to look into. And once again, You definitely, if you have any questions about a policy before you secure it, then definitely call the travel insurance company and talk to one of the professionals if you have any questions on how things are, how they work, and don't just assume that you know. Some people really get confused with when it comes to travel protection and travel insurance. That's kind of why I wanted to come on and talk about it, because they think that they're covered for one thing and it's only, for specific things. And so those are some of the reasons why you really should understand exactly what's in those policies and make sure that you're covered the way that you feel like you need to be covered. The other part of that is that with certain credit cards and everything, you may have some coverage, um, some travel protection and travel insurance coverage and things. You definitely want to look at that and see if how great that is. Sometimes it's not that good of coverage, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it may depend on what your status is with a credit card company. And then some of them may say, well, you need to put this entire trip on the credit card in order to be covered for this trip. And then some of them may not. So it's different for everybody. So you definitely want to look into your credit card companies and see if there's any protection for you. And then as far, it didn't really matter internationally or domestic trips, but I will say that many times, especially if it's a medical issue and you're out of network, then, or even if you're in network, it really doesn't matter. Um, and you need to use the medical portion of the travel insurance, then more than likely it's going to be your secondary insurance. So again, just look into all that, all the details. I always read my policies. Um, I look at policies all the time, for myself, for my clients, and everything, but I still take the time to read policies to make sure that I understand that, to see if things has changed, if it's a company or, that I'm already working with, or even, if I've waited too long and I'm looking for a more or less expensive travel protection, then I make sure that I know exactly what I'm getting, um, and things, and make sure that I am, doing the right thing for myself. You can also look at annual travel protection, travel insurance plans. They're not going to be as high. The claim amounts are not going to be as high, maybe, but that's something you can actually look into as well, and just kind of weigh out the differences and things, and then a lot of them will allow you to add some more insurance on top of that. So definitely look at that if you're traveling like multiple times within a year. Maybe that works for you as well. Um, so the last thing that I want to talk about is, once you get your travel protection or whatever, make sure that you are sharing that information along with your travel itinerary and things with a loved one or someone that you trust before you leave. Put it in a Google Drive or some type of cloud. Even if you need it, make sure that you put that document where it's offline in case you don't have um, some type of internet or whatever, that you can still get to it. But you also want to add somebody that's not traveling that you trust, a loved one, a friend, whatever, um, to make sure that they actually have your information in case they need it. So that's really, really important that whoever, and put them down as your emergency contact as well, like for your flight, with your travel uh, agent, just anything, so that someone can contact, a loved one on your behalf. But also, if you're not using a travel agent or whatever, that somebody, if something happens to you, then they can actually help assist you, and they know that you have travel protection in case they needed help to get you back here or anything like that. Now, if something happens, like say a natural disaster or something like that, you don't get travel protection, then usually what you're going to have to do is probably try to contact the embassy that's in that country, or the department, I think it's the Department of Transportation. Um, and if that happens, then you could see if they, depending on what the reason is, if it's a natural disaster, then they're going to want to get their people out and things like that. But one of the things that you definitely want to do is um, get yourself into the STEP program, and in case there's any civil unrest, in case there is, if your loved ones haven't heard from you in a long time or they're concerned, then what happens, that is a free program like through our government, and you just go on our you can actually even just look up STEP program, and it stands for Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. It's a free service that you can use, and you just submit your travel information, like who to contact, where you're going to be staying, your phone number, all that type of stuff. So if somebody needed to do a welfare check on your behalf, like a, a parent or a sibling, whoever, and things, if they get concerned about you, then the embassy or the consulate knows exactly that you're in the country already, and then they can actually do a welfare check on your family's behalf. It's a lot easier for the government if the government knows that you're in that country versus you trying to reach out to them, especially if there's a civil unrest issue or if there's a natural disaster. Okay. So if there's a natural disaster or a civil unrest, then the cell phone number that you provide, they can start sending you text messages and actually notify you that, hey, you need to, vacate, the country or whatever. And then that way you are notified. If they don't know that you're there because you haven't submitted your information, you know, then you're going to be hearing it from loved ones once they know, or um, however you're going to get your information. So it's really important that you actually submit that type of information as well. uh, and I'll talk a little bit more about that also, but definitely look up the STEP program and make sure that you actually, are enrolling your trips for that, so that, like I said, the local embassy or the consulate, if that's what it is that's in that particular country, in that region that you're in, are aware that you're in the country and that they know exactly where you're supposed to be. So when they actually go out to do a welfare check for you and things, and they kind of have a trail, um, you know, and know where to actually start, their search, or at least to reach out to you. So, um, again, just to kind of go over, travel protection is pre-departure. It helps you if you need to cancel for for whatever reason and things. Make sure that you're looking at the policies and stuff, and that you understand fully what you're getting. Travel insurance is during your trip. So if there's an issue that comes up, or if you have to, um, you know, prematurely interrupt your vacation, or if there's a delay or your with your flight going to your destination, um, or cancellation, or if your baggage doesn't make it there, if there's some theft of property or whatever, then those are the things that happen with travel insurance. Medical emergencies and everything, or medical evacuation, which means that they would, you know, the local hospital medical team would get you stable, and then once you're stable enough, then you would be able to get a medical evacuation back to the nearest hospital that could care for you. Okay. So, all these things you definitely need to take into account. I don't travel without getting, both, to be quite honest. That's just not, yeah, I just don't. I'm getting older. I never know if I'm going to have a medical issue. I want to make sure that I am covered, and also that I am getting the best care possible. So when you call and you let the people, at the travel insurance company know that you need to be seen by someone, then they will also direct you to the medical facility that can help you and that they will pay for as well. So just make sure that you are aware of that you're making, or somebody that's with you, or whatever, that they are contacting them, or if it's, even if you don't think that it's that bad, you're working with a travel agent, then you at least let them know so they can help or assist with, any emergency you may have. That's what they're there for as well. Or they can better direct you. Uh, any of your claims and things like that, you need to do that yourself. I wouldn't count on um, your your travel agent to do that. That's not what we do. We may direct you to the correct forms or whatever if it's an affiliate that we worked with, and you secure that through us or through your trip. So that's probably as far as they will go, because you need to submit all that information. So for canceled and delayed flights, this actually came directly from my business manager director for the travel insurance company that I'm an affiliate with. She said that even if you, because they will want to know that your flight was actually canceled or whatever, one of the easiest ways for you to show that it was canceled, it was delayed, whatever, is to actually take a picture of the departure monitor of the flight number, because you already have like your you'll already have like some type of form that shows like your travel documents or whatever that shows that you were booked on that flight. But you do have to somehow prove that your flight was canceled or it was delayed. So even like some of the notifications that you get, like sign up for any notifications with the airline and things like that, because that can actually work too. But definitely take a picture of the monitor that shows that your flight was canceled or it was delayed or whatever. So hopefully this all helps, somebody to kind of understand what the difference is with travel protection and travel insurance, and kind of give you a little bit of insight of what you're looking for when you do get one or the other or both. And And like I said, don't be afraid to reach out to the travel insurance company and ask your questions before you actually get your travel protection. Okay? So, again, my name is TaNisha Webb. I'm with Urban Chic Travelistas. I'm the owner and travel consultant. And do my due diligence and just let you know that you can definitely join us in Ghana, Greece, and Egypt with a $50 deposit. All you have to do is go to urbanchictravelistas.com. You'll see the little ticker at the bottom of this video and everything. You only have till December 17th in order to get in on that deal if that's what you want to do. These trips are taking off in the last day um, of June. June 30th is for Ghana, and then we'll be back July 10th. And then 2024, we're going to Greece. That's in September. And then we're going to Egypt in 2025 in October. And so all three of these trips are open. They're available for people to secure. If you want to go, if you have any questions, you can definitely go to the website, send me a message, or you can contact me on Facebook or um, however you're listening to this video, and I will definitely respond. If you have any questions, then definitely hit me up, and I will try to answer the questions. If there's really technical questions, especially about travel insurance, travel protection, then again, I'm not a licensed insurance rep. And so some of those questions I may not be able to ask, but you can definitely go to a travel insurance company and um, and call them and ask them any questions that you would like to. So, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening live or to a replay of this video and things, I'm coming back tomorrow. Don't know what my topic's going to be, but I'm coming back with something, y'all. So, anyways, you guys have a wonderful evening, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.